I want to thank you for all your attempts to make sure that African disputes, conflicts are settled the African way and by Africans. I also want to assure you that by the grace of the Almighty Allah, I have accepted your invitation, and inshallah I'll be with you during your conference that is coming up. Inshallah, by the grace of the Almighty Allah, I guarantee you my presence in whatever capacity. Because you also made it clear that in whatever capacity I am invited, and I want to assure you that I accept the invitation wholeheartedly, because I believe that, and I'm convinced, I've watched you walk around conflict areas, those areas you mentioned, and I've seen the fact that you are true to the oath you have taken of being a lawyer that will find facts and act based on facts. What happened in the Gambia is very interesting. Never before, for the past 22 years, did we have such interference from outside in our electoral process, which obviously is unacceptable. For the first time also, we have seen, you thank the heads of state that came to mediate. I gave them all the facts surrounding what has happened. And when they went, ECOWAS decided to make their own ruling, thereby in fact saying, which of course was not which was a foreign decision, that no matter what, somebody has been elected, and that person must be the president, because originally I accepted the results. Whatever is true, I want to assure you that I have no reason to cheat, and I will never cheat, because the next world is more important than me. My relationship with Allah is more important than my relationship with any creature. The elections in this country have been going on. We had 4 presidential elections during my time, and at no election did we have such problems that we encountered, unusual problems. And I believe in the peaceful resolution of conflicts. But I also believe in one thing, that whatever Allah decides is what is going to happen. Yes, I accepted the results based on what I believe was true. For the first time in the history of this country, 360,000 people out of the electoral registered voters of 898,000 something, that's registered to vote. Out of that, out of 800,000 plus, 360,000 plus voters didn't turn up. And there was no explanation for this. And even the commentary on the GRTS and radio and television were saying, the analysts were saying, this is not possible. So we need an explanation for this. And so there has never been such, and then some say, oh, maybe voter apathy. But this has never happened in the past 4 elections that we had, which were even more keenly contested by people that are well known to this country, and opposition people that were known to this country. Now, when we looked at it, believing that what used to happen in the past happened when the Electoral Commission is independent and honest, and that they will do a fair job, a good job, I accepted the results that were announced. And what also made it clear that we are going to find out why 360,000 people have not voted. I called the then president-elect because he was declared the winner and congratulated him. And even talked about a transition period. After that, the Electoral Commission did what has never happened in my lifetime, and even during the time that there was another government in this country. Of course, in those days, the elections of the First Republic were supervised by the Ministry of Local Government and I think Interior. And they appointed the electoral officers, returning officers, whatever. My brother, the elections in the Gambia is such that whatever is put in the ballot, you cannot cheat, because if the rules and regulations are followed, nobody will have cause to query. And because the previous elections, then IEC under that leadership, which is not there now, made sure that they followed the electoral laws of this country to the letter, thereby dispelling any room for complaint. Now, the electoral law says, what are the electoral laws of the Gambia say that no polling or voting will start at any polling station unless all parties have their representative, what they call polling agents, at the polling station. It is when every party is represented, all the representatives are there, that the IEC would allow people to start voting in the presence of everyone. Because what we have here is not the ballot papers, we have tokens. And each candidate has a box. Now, it is what is put in your box that is counted. In this situation, this election, our agents, we are the ruling party, we are the government of the day. Our polling agents were not allowed in from 8 a.m. to 1 o'clock in the afternoon in some stations, polling stations, and these are major polling stations. Now, they made everything possible to make sure that they go in, and they were told that they cannot, they kicked them out of the vicinity. In elections in this country, all the past 4 elections, we make sure that the security do not interfere, and in fact we make sure that there's less security presence. Because each time I won, they say, oh, the soldier, they say horrible lies. But of course when you think of people that have no moral values, that's normal. That all the soldiers were dancing in the street. The soldiers are Gambians, they are registered voters, and if they have a right to support any party. Should that intimidate anybody? The soldiers were going to vote and they were dancing. What is wrong with that? So, be it the Commonwealth, the European Union, the Americans, each time we have election, they say the elections are not free and fair. And in most cases, it is the opposition that is always bent on violence, to create an atmosphere of electoral violence so that they can use that to say, oh, it is the government that instigated that. But I always tell people to keep the peace and ignore the provocations. To the extent that I think in 2000, one of the elections, I think 2006 it was, the then opposition leader said I was going to teach the APRC a lesson. They got hold of one of our drivers. Not only did they beat him to death, they cut him into pieces. He was arrested and taken to a court of law where all the exhibits were made. And there was, at that time we were members of the Commonwealth, where we had Commonwealth judges on technical assistance paid by the Commonwealth. And this Commonwealth judge made a funny ruling. The case dragged on for almost 2 years. And then they brought this Commonwealth judge to dismiss the case and say it was politically motivated. When you have witnesses coming to testify, pictures are shown of how they cut the body into pieces. And the judge said, it was politically motivated, acquitted and discharged the criminal, and then left the country. Now, all attempts to appeal were frustrated. So, then it's the same person that early part of this year, whilst I was in Turkey, organized an illegal protest. But before going to the protest, he called the press and made a press conference that he is ready to die, but he's going out without a police permit to protest. What does that really mean? Because a violent protest started and it was put off. It was taken care of by the security. And now he's saying that he's ready to go out and die, but he's not going to ask for a permit. The same person that killed an APRC supporter, cut him into pieces, only to be freed by a corrupt Commonwealth judge under the influence of outside forces, and left the country. Now he's emboldened again to say that he's ready to die. Now if you say I'm going out and I'm ready to die, are you going for a peaceful demonstration? No. So he went out to protest, and but when he made the press conference, no Western country said anything about this, which means they are the ones instigating trouble in this country. I know that they don't like me. Do I care? I don't. I'm serving the interests of my country and my continent. What I want is what they don't want to hear from an African head of state. Independent African countries developing peacefully. This is what they don't want to hear. I know I've made many enemies. Do I care? I don't. I care about what my relationship with Allah and the Gambian people. So, they were even making threats that, oh, if you don't release this guy, he was convicted by a court of law. And they're making threats that if I don't release the person, there would be sanctions. I say, I heard your voice. Whatever sanctions you want, the results will be determined by Allah, not you. And I cannot be blackmailed into accepting this. And they say he was protesting for electoral reform. A reform of the electoral process. And the guy himself is a lawyer. Now, what is the reform he is asking for? Now, this year. Because in our constitution there is no term limit, but there is age limit. So after the age of 65, you cannot be contest for presidential election. And now, he wants us to change the constitution, that provision in the constitution, because he wants to contest again. But if you want to do that, you go to the courts. You don't need constitutional reform cannot be enforced by intimidation and violence. We will not allow that. So maybe they would have told you that, oh yes, they are asking for political reform. The political reform they are talking about is a constitutional change, a change of what is in the constitution, which will of course require a referendum. So you cannot just go, and they waited until I left, which was also planned by them and their supporters, that they should do it whilst I'm outside of the country. They did that when I was in Turkey. There's nothing they have not accused me of, but if prophets were accused of so many things, who am I to expect that nobody will accuse me of anything? So, coming back to these elections, as I said, when the results were announced, believing that the same system was used, I said, okay, I accept this. If this is the verdict of the people, this is my destiny. I accepted in good faith and I congratulated the person. Then I think this was on a Friday. Monday, I think, the same IEC that announced the results called all the parties to their headquarters and said that they have made mistakes in the results. They called and then stated that this is what has happened.